Published this fall, Bald Eagle Recovery. This is an article that I read in 1977, the first documentation of an eagle dying from lead poisoning after eating Canada geese that contained lead shot. When I worked at Lac qui Parle, the bald eagles that wintered there also fed on Canada geese. And I thought, oh, this is the same situation that was reported in that article. So I had picked up this eagle as a dying eagle in November of 1974. It had droopy wings. I walked right up to it and picked it up. And it had all the indications that I later found were characteristic of lead poisoning. The bird had died by the next morning, and I was unable to get it to the Raptor Center, but it was too far gone for saving. But one of the sad things about what we found was that lead shotgun pellets are forever toxins that do not degrade after they are shot. And we had no money in the non-game program available at the time, or in the section of wildlife at the point that before the checkoff came along. And we called the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in Laurel, Maryland, and asked if they had funding to research this problem, because if bald eagles were being poisoned by the use of lead shot, this would be a major problem because the eagle at that time was federally threatened. The solution to all of these problems is the use of steel shot. By 1987, Minnesota was requiring steel shot for all waterfowl hunting in Minnesota. Unfortunately, toxic lead shot is still used for upland hunting for pheasants and grouse and rabbits, and it's also lead used in deer hunting. And there are over 500,000 deer hunters in Minnesota. They take about 170,000 deer per year, and a large proportion of those people don't see the need for changing to steel because they don't see the impact of what it does to our eagles. Now, another thing that happened in my early years with eagle conservation is that many of the eastern states had only one or two eagle pairs still nesting, and in some states they were already extirpated. They wanted to reintroduce eagles. And so I set up a program whereby we would donate 5 eagles per year, eagle chicks, to these states. However, we still have a problem with eagles being poisoned from deer hunters who apparently don't care because they say they don't see the eagles dying. But the Minnesota Raptor Center gets probably about 30 eagles per year that have been lead poisoned. Some of these are lead poison went from eating deer gut piles. Other times they find deer that hunters have not retrieved, and they forage on those and get exposed to the lead as well. We worked with the Wildlife Society, sponsoring shooting clinics that compared lead and copper ammo performance for hunters, where they could use their own shotgun or rifle and try out the ammo. And you can see on the left here, this is a fragmented lead bullet that exploded when it hit its target. All those little pieces there are little pieces of lead that go into the venison and into the deer gut pile. On the right is an intact copper bullet. It's non-toxic, it does not shatter, and it does not poison anything. It's non-toxic. These are the tiny bullet fragments that go into the venison, where if someone goes deer hunting, brings home venison and feeds it to their spouse and their kids, this is the lead that's embedded in that venison. That venison should not be consumed. The Minnesota Department of Agriculture tests venison donated to food shelves every year, and the average has been about 9% of all the venison packages coming from those venison donated packages contain lead. And they destroy all those packages, but it means that everybody who goes home and keeps their own venison and feeds it to their family is feeding lead to their family. I wouldn't even feed that to the dog. This is a non-toxic copper billet. There's no fragmentation, no lead poisoning. They're very accurate, and they're just as effective or more effective than lead ammo ever was. And it doesn't take much lead to kill a loon. This is the gizzard content from a loon that died of lead poisoning that had just one lead sinker, and that's what killed it. So we still need a lot of work done, and we appreciate the efforts by the Pollution Control Agency to reduce the use of lead jigs and sinkers for fishing, because more and more non-toxic jigs and sinkers are becoming available, and we need to promote that to keep not only our loons, but also our trumpeter swans from being poisoned. All it takes is a single lead pellet to kill a loon.